The heavily footnoted report concluded that peace was not in the interest of a stable society, that even if a lasting peace could be achieved, it would almost certainly not be in the best interests of society to achieve it. War was a part of the economy. Therefore, it was necessary to conceive a state of war for a stable economy. The government, the group theorised, would not exist without war, and nation-states existed in order to wage war. War served the vital function of diverting collective aggression. They recommended credible substitutes and paying a blood price to emulate the economic functions of war. Prospective government-devised alternatives to war included reports of alien life forms, the reintroduction of a euphemised form of slavery consistent with modern technology and political processes, and one deemed particularly promising in gaining the attention of the malleable masses, the threat of gross pollution of the environment.
How dare you!
The report from Iron Mountain, 1967. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I hope you enjoyed that report from Iron Mountain, a 1967 parody document of which the Pentagon bought 5,000 copies originally, but it was so well written, most people believed it was actually real because that's how the discussion papers come across. The point I'm trying to make is we need to revisit the grand chessboard again in the realm of Taiwan, World War III, CCP, what's America going to happen, central bank digital currencies coming in, collapse, no chicken on the shelves, and on and on and on. The terror is full scale. Everyone is extremely worried, and I don't blame you to some degree. How much is fear porn? How much is grand theatre? Well, we must always refer back to the report from Iron Mountain, a document which everyone talked about and everybody knew about on the internet back in 1998, 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then we slowly saw the disappearance of all this good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be focusing on one Tucker Carlson episode. You see it in the background. And again, I'm in business today. You know why? Because I've got my whiteboard out. We will be talking Tucker Carlson as a prop, point out Kissinger and Murdoch's association. Tucker Carlson is not the alt media. Tucker Carlson is a multi-zillionaire who works for a multi-billionaire, completely in bed with Rothschild, the banking house of Rothschild, the central banking cartels, the think tanks, the foundation system, Rupert Murdoch and his close friendship continuing with Heinz Kissinger. We need to repeat this theatre. I'm going to say this again. Tucker Carlson is not the alt media. And we're watching the right-left dialectic coming in. You know the story. It's no longer us, the bankers. It's Nancy Pelosi's the enemy, along with good old Obama and Hillary in the spirit cooking bunker. We get it now. DeSantis puffing him up on fake issues, sacking the prosecutor, Fabian socialism. Again, they're creating their new megastar. Hillary and Kissinger's close association, so there is no right-left. There's just bankers, the foundation system, the think tanks, and that's how they run things. Bannon, why he outed Kissinger, then backed off. A hugely radical conspiracy I came up with all by myself on what's happening with Intel Corporation, the chip maker, and their GPUs. They are hoarding a lot of stuff, saying it doesn't work because once the CCP blockades Taiwan, no chips are coming out of there, and Intel's going to make a fortune. Again, Intel's in deep trouble. They're completely incompetent. They are falling apart. Now everyone's looking, going, what the hell? They're openly saying it will go the way of IBM. They will certainly continue to make chips and other stuff, but as a leading chip manufacturer, people are now saying, we wonder if they'll survive. It remains to be seen. They can't spend billions forever paying off large corporations to keep buying their shitty chips for their server farms. Remember, the big money's in the servers and the web. That system with massive chip cores, AMD is dominating and continuing to dominate. Let's get into that radical conspiracy. Balance. We need to go into the psychological balance. Well, how much is theatre? How much is crisis actors? Whether it's a mall shooting, a school shooting, or indeed the Ukraine or Taiwan. We need a little psychological balance here. China did not suddenly get power. How for the last 20 years did everyone go, oh my God, okay, click the button, now we're at war with China. Yeah, we are. The grand chessboard and, of course, the report from Iron Mountain. Keep them under the War Powers Act. We need to go over crisis actors in Stone, Roger Stone and Alex Jones. Once again, we need to talk about Space Force and all the good stuff, Major Jordan's diaries. That's what's coming. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get crack-a-lackin' on this, I'm going to get this condensed into an hour. Then we've got a big meeting coming up. I better get a move on. The time here is 11:13 a.m. It is the 6th of August, 2022. I do believe something happened on the 6th of August. Boom! Hiroshima. Was it Nagasaki? I don't know. We need to discuss a lot of things. We need to go back old school. Bill Cooper old school. Been catching up on a lot of his old stuff. Let's talk. Let's talk about it. Like I said, I got my whiteboard out. Look out.
In cyber is a real domain of power. In cyber is a real domain of power.
Okay, ladies and gents, let's get stuck right in. Just give you the brief overview of this video. If you don't know who I am, does this help you understand where I've been working? This is a police raid on my house in late 2009.
This is about SAS Campbell Barracks, Leon Wind, Variant. Okay. Timothy, you told me that Variant does your local and national, your local police intercept from Israeli intelligence front.
Pop you in the car.
Yeah, I know you are, Tim. You, Tim. Okay. I'll tell you.
I have been in Iran working with government analysts. I lived in Malaysia a while, spoke with many interesting people, been on Lebanese TV, visited Beirut and met some interesting people. All very good. Let's just make sure everything's working. Let's give quickly the big picture. We need to be able to walk and chew gum and hold multiple concepts in our heads at the same time. It's all freaking theatre. Bankers rule, period. Bankers, giant hedge funds, and the foundation system. It ain't just George Soros, baby. There's dozens of them. And you have the giant hedge funds, the BlackRocks, the State Streets, the Vanguards. And that's getting out into the popular culture now. Beautiful. We need to get Kissinger and Associates back out there. And the private networks, the foundation system. As Julianne Romanello says, it's not Bill Gates running this ridiculous COVID stuff. All right. Well, it's not entirely ridiculous. There was a bioweapon release, but I don't blame you for believing it's all fake. That's the balance we have to get now. All right. When it first started, I'm a former registered nurse, ICU and emergency department trained. Okay. And my friends were still working in ICUs. When they came out and said, in my hometown, we're overrun, don't come to the hospital. Oh my God, we're all going to die. And my mate rings up his mate in the ICU at that hospital, Sir Charles Gardner Hospital in Perth, Western Australia, 1,700 beds. My first nurse manager, Delilah Guy, G74 urology, and we also did the liver transplant workups and G79. They're empty. But wait a minute. The whole place is overrun. It was total shit. I don't blame you for believing there was never a virus. It was all fake. And this is the balance we need to get, because it's after mucho asking, mucho information, there was a biologically engineered virus. Why wouldn't they release one? They've been messing with them for 20 years. It makes perfect sense. That's exactly what they do. And that's what they did. We know all the other exaggeration, but watch out. It was a shot across the bows. But we need that big picture. There's a lot of theatre going on, baby. And that's our starting point. Effing theatre. Nothing but grossly overdone theatre. And they shake a fist and the other one shakes a fist and you better watch out. And we're all sitting there going, oh my God. Now we get the food shortages. Now we get the Israeli apps on our phone. You understand that. But things can go very badly wrong. Ask 1939 to 1945 or 1933 to 1945. And the mass carnage that went on amongst other things. Don't you think for a single second this couldn't get out of control. But right now, Kissinger and Associates and a whole bunch of the big think tanks and the foundation system and the financial advisors are running backwards and forwards to Taiwan, to China, to Russia, you name it, getting ready. You blow a ship up over there, I'll get General Milley to blow something up over there, and we'll keep the blockade happening. It'll be a perfect system, Cold War, not too hot. This is how you keep everyone under the War Powers Act. You keep the media busy. I can see Fox News now, MSNBC, the whole lot of the dirty, disgusting rats. Blockade, day one. It'll be like a football game. You're going to get regular updates. You're going to be glued to your thing. Meanwhile, they'll be doing heaps of stuff behind the scenes. That's Kissinger and Associates, private network, avoiding the US State Department, avoiding the Special Executive Service, avoiding it all. It's private, personal relationships. Get it in your thick head. The foundation system, they sprinkle the money down. There's drug money laundering going on, evangelical Christian movements, Chabad Lubavitch, all these different areas. But it's the foundation system running BLM, running Proud Boys, running this politician, running that one, keeping the dialectic going, and we're seeing it unfold. It's no longer us against the banking, occult, financial class. We don't talk about that anymore. Now we talk about the right and the left, conservative, liberal, Trump-tard, libtard. And this is the exact psychological warfare program they have going to divide the United States and puff up their boy DeSantis and continue to fund and keep the Israeli experiment, turning the Federated States of Greater Israel or the United States of Greater Israel, building it up and then transferring the high technology of the United States in there, collapsing the United States into a welfare state, doing a Roosevelt-style rebuilding program as they did in the late 20s and early 30s. When Roosevelt was praising Hitler, all of them were praising each other. That's the game. Watch out. We need the grand chessboard, the battle for Eurasia. The United States is in there. They were not meant to stay in there. They were meant under Trump. Kissinger put him in with SCL Group, Cambridge Analytica, because we're fighting the communists. Yeah, the communists in $1,000 suits. Isn't that right, Heinz Kissinger? He is the lackey boy for Nelson Rockefeller, David Rockefeller, all the rest, who are then who? Fronts for Rothschild, Lord Jacob, and the City of London and the UK European banking cartel families. The Wallenbergs out of Sweden and all the ones we don't talk about a lot. We need to talk more about Sweden. Sweden's a funny place, man. They wield a lot of power. They got a lot of goodies being built in Sweden under things like Ericsson. Amazing. All your telecommunications, the large-scale equipment, that's all Ericsson. There's only two competitors, Ericsson and the Chinese Huawei and ZTE. Interesting. We'll go into that in another one. So let's get this big picture in under an hour. We're seeing how it goes. Let's get stuck in. Let's have a little listen to Tucker Carlson for a while. But there we have the left-right. Behind me you will see the left refugees seek refuge, move to Republican-led states. You understand how this is working. So left-right. They're going to make roughly a dividing line north-south, and all the big cities will be turned into shitholes as they're doing. They're shifting rapidly down into the southern states. There they will maintain and build all the high technology where there's much more support for Israel, which we're not talking about. Abbott's running backwards and forwards to Israel. There's deals being signed left and right. Watch my must-watch playlist in my playlist list on YouTube. And I will get diversified soon enough into my own website, so on later. So you see what's going to happen. The deindustrialization of America's manufacturing. Kissinger and Associates sent it over to China, 1973, with the idiot Nixon, who was Rockefeller's boy. But he went AWOL. He did a Hitler and started going after Kissinger, the leaker, and hated Kissinger in the end. And so what did Kissinger do? He started doing, Nixon was doing deals with the Arabs behind Kissinger's back, and boom, Nixon was gone. Didn't play by the book. Goodbye, Nixon. Donald Trump, exact same thing. Except Donald Trump's not exactly gone now. Trump was meant to go in and do his job, didn't do his job, for whatever reason. Now they're pushing DeSantis. People are going to fall for this crap. So now we see the right, left, commies. But let's talk about the commies in $1,000 suits, the banking cartels, and above all, Heinz Kissinger. Failla, the facts support DeSantis here. Again, pushing DeSantis where DeSantis sacked that prosecutor in Florida because he wasn't enforcing the rules against transgender operations on kids. So now everyone's clapping. DeSantis will save us. They're puffing up their hero. They're all owned by the same people. Stop it. CNN, Fox News, same people, same friends, same clubs, same pubs, same girlfriend. They're all effing each other. They've got the same coke dealers, the same psychiatrists who dispense all their drugs to them. It's horsepucky. This is a fake right-left dialectic. Yes, they fight amongst each other, but I promise you, they all work for the same banking cartel. We'll get into Taiwan. Is Taiwan semiconductor? Do you remember, if you've been around, this is all we talked about 4 or 5 years ago. Suddenly the mainstream media's caught on. Gee, who put all that chip manufacturing on Taiwan, right next to the Red Chinese? Oh, that would be Kissinger. And the plan was that Xi would take it over. It was all planned. The multipolar world order was planned. And they would pull out of NATO, pull out of Afghanistan, pull out of Eurasia, pull out of the Middle East. And Germany, Russia, China, and Israel would dominate the world island. Watch my playlists, which I will update very, very soon before this goes up. And then you will see the Makinda World Island, the battle for the world island. Eurasia. We were talking about this in 2018 non-stop. This is how far behind everyone is. Not because we're brilliant, but because the internet is full of shit. It's fake. It's all fake. Tucker Carlson is not the alt media. Nancy Pelosi visiting Taiwan angers China. Who cares? It's a good thing. Visit more. Get more people. Orban, this is fascinating. The right-wing fascist from Hungary saying, you got to make peace with Russia. You got to get Russia on side. Why? Because that's Kissinger's boy. Kissinger's boy. Hold it right there. Let me press pause. Need to understand, and I need to make a really good, high-quality video about this. Vladimir Putin was a nobody. No one even knew who he was. He was handling the Red Mafia out of St. Petersburg. He also used to handle the Baader-Meinhof gang out of East Germany. They're all running backwards and forwards to Lebanon. Understand his pedigree. He came out of nowhere. Why? Russian Kissinger, Yevgeny Primakov dies at 85. Whoops, what the hell just happened? Okay, be careful what you press. Russian Kissinger, Yevgeny Primakov dies at 85. Revered statesman Yevgeny Primakov, a former Russian prime minister and foreign minister. Oh, sorry, I kept thinking he was KGB. Sorry. Well, foreign minister, same thing. Steered the country towards stability after its worst economic collapse in 1998. Died at the age of 85 in Moscow after a long illness. If you want a picture of Primakov with none other than Heinz Kissinger, look there. You will get dozens and dozens of videos. That is how Kissinger picked Vladimir Putin out of total obscurity in St. Petersburg with Yuri Primakov. Okay? And Kissinger's deep in with the KGB. He's bragged. There's quotes about him working with the KGB and their leadership and meeting with them behind the scenes. He constantly brags about avoiding the Special Executive Service, the US State Department, via private personal relationships. It's all private personal relationships. It's all the foundation system flowing down. The Bloombergs. You see Gates is a fake. He's been put up there along with COVID. It's made many heroes and many enemies. We'll discuss that. This is all theatre, all of it on the grand chessboard, total, absolute theatre. Tactically, sometimes things go awry. Kissinger's vision for US-Russia relations. Russia should be perceived as an essential element of any new global equilibrium. This is from February 4, 2016, the National Interest. From 2007 into 2009, Yevgeny Primakov and I chaired a group composed of, this is Kissinger talking, composed of retired senior ministers, high officials and military leaders from Russia and the United States, including some of you present here today. Its purpose was to ease the adversarial aspects of the US-Russia relationship and to consider opportunities for cooperative approaches. In America, it was described as a Track 2 group, which meant it was bipartisan and encouraged by the White House to explore but not negotiate on its behalf. You've got to understand, what the hell is Heinz Kissinger, a private citizen with his advisory group and all his think tank friends doing? We will explore this. You don't explore this. The US State Department explores this. Isn't that right? No, private banking cartels handle all the relationships if you haven't worked it out. So by the White House to explore but not negotiate on its behalf. We alternated meetings in each other's countries. President Putin received the group in Moscow in 2007 and President Medvedev in 2009. In 2008, President George W. Bush assembled most of the national security team in the cabinet room for a dialogue with our guests. Why? Because they were going to build the multipolar world order, weren't they? Getting everyone together, withdrawing the United States back. That was why Donald Trump was put in, and Heinz Kissinger with Jared Kushner was there from the start. And when they went to bring down the CCP by cutting off ZTE from all high technology supplies, that would bring down the Chinese Communist Party. And what happened? Bannon was out. He was out. And suddenly Donald Trump, 3 days later, puts a tweet out, and I'll see if I can find it. I didn't find the tweet, but I found the article. Donald Trump now wants to save ZTE, and everyone's confused. Well, that was expected. May 13, 2018. Because Kissinger said, oi, who do you think you are, Ronald Reagan? You know, going to bring down the Soviet Union? Bang! Reagan got shot, survived, and did the job. Donald Trump says, I'm going to bring down the Chinese Communist Party and free it all up for investment and blah, blah, blah. And the Chinese people won't have their organs taken when they call their president a dick. And Kissinger said, 9. Heinz said 9. Jared Kushner waved the photos. And too many jobs lost, Donald said. I'm sorry. It's too compromised. Maybe that's why they want DeSantis, but I've got a better idea. Donald Trump came out swinging. I'm not a fan of Trump. I know what Trump is. Listen to me. Use the energy. Came out swinging, and what did he say? He talked about 9/11 in the previous video. I said to you, watch out, Trump is not going to go down without a fight. He's going to go down spitefully and start swinging. Let's hope so. Let's break him up. Think about it. So Orban's going to say you can't ostracize and isolate Russia. Well, Russia's going to... What did I tell you for years? Russia's a piece of shit. The military is a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. This is just like Kennedy years, Cuban Missile Crisis, the missile gap. There was no missile gap. It was a joke. Russia was a joke. Their missiles would bounce up and down on Red Square because they were all fake. It's a joke. It's been a joke from day one, and so is China. All the Africans are sending back the equipment saying your cheap crap is falling apart. It's a paper tiger, just as Russia's a paper bear. All right. The American military is so strong, no matter what you think, no matter how many high heels you think Millie is buying, the US military has that many toys to call from. The Lockheed suborbital weapons platform setting fire to all those Chinese factories, amongst other things. Do you seriously think the United States, we're so helpless, we didn't see the Chinese communists coming? It's fake, it's ridiculous, it's crap, it's the War Powers Act, building up official enemies, supplying official enemies. The whole thing's been fake from day one. End the technology transfer, tear it all down, and the US can just dominate. Kissinger doesn't want the US dominating because Kissinger represents the powers of the European, UK central banking cartels. The United States is an upstart colonial outpost that has to be brought back under control, and an end to its silly constitution to be replaced by communitarian law and the smart city gulag system they are attempting to put in place. The United States military must be strong. Lockheed must be strong. It must get rid of all the Russian GRU/Israeli assets out, dump them in the ocean, do whatever. Plenty of smart Americans can do this. They have been totally and utterly infiltrated all the way through to US critical infrastructure, which is the only reason Russia and China are being cocky. The only reason. But it's on, baby. How will it end up? I don't know. There are no white hats. There are only two kinds of hats, black hats and grey hats. There are no white hats. All right? So pick your poison. Pick your poison. Let's watch Orban, the fascist from Hungary, saying, no, we must be friends with Putin. We must be friends. He'll be one of Kissinger's boys, of course.
Prime Minister Viktor Orban is here in the United States, where he's been speaking at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Dallas. Speaking at the primarily Republican conference, Orban called on America's conservatives to urge President Joe Biden to engage with Russian President Vladimir Putin over the ongoing war in Ukraine.
Why do that? Just thrash Russia back to where it came from, or leave them in the Donbass and so they can be all scary bears and scare NATO and make NATO great again and make sure Germany and Russia can't form their alliance. Let's not forget that. Germany, Russia and China and Israel had an alliance going. Boot the US out of Eurasia. They would have their North America, South America union. That's the Rothschild plan. Kissinger has never allowed. He has single-handedly destroyed the United States. Kissinger and associates. Soros is a complete newcomer joke, all right? It's Kissinger. They're both the same. The right and left arms of the Rothschild City of London, UK European banking cartels. Bankers. Not Hillary and Obama, not the spirit-pucking bumper where they drink sperm. It's all horseshit narratives. It's psychological warfare. And the reason they have to run these psych warfare programs is because they don't have power. They're scared. They're scared of us. They're scared of the managerial class. They're scared of the good people in the FBI and the CIA and the DIA. All the acronyms. ONI, NSA. Okay, they're scared because they're humans and they have wives and kids and mortgages, and they're worried, and the billionaire class of America is worried. They're watching this go down. That's why they had to release COVID, and they got another one ready to go. They've got to bring down the United States with all their might, so they're trying to divide it in two. Watching this happen is driving me insane. It's so freaking obvious. Tucker Carlson is not your friend, and neither is MSNBC and CNN. They are all the same, and they work for their friends.
Without American-Russian talks, there will never be peace in Ukraine.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? They're thrashing the shit out of the poor Russian idiots. Poor bastards, I feel for them. Driving their shitty tanks down the road. Boom! Fire and forget. You stand up, lock on, boom, fire your missile, go have a cup of tea. Boom! Why will there never be peace? Russia's a piece of shit. It's a joke. It can't make a toilet seat, for crying out loud. I'm not being mean to the Russian. I love the Russian people. I was going to be a monk in the Russian Orthodox Church. Father Alexis Rosenthal, abbot at the time. Now it's Father Serge. He was 15 years in Jerusalem. All right? I know the suffering the Russian people and the roll call the Russian Orthodox Church outside Russia went through and how Putin came in and took it over. KGB boy. You do remember Putin's KGB, everyone. I mean, like, right? Right? You do remember? Oh my God, where is it? Where are you, Putin? You do remember Putin's KGB, deep state. Oh, we're all into the deep state. This is Russia's deep state.
Группа сотрудников ФСБ, направленные вами в командировку для работы под прикрытием правительства, на первом этапе со своими задачами справляется.
You get it? You do get that. The KGB is linked intimately with Wall Street and all the rest. He is part of that East India Trading Company via Kissinger and Associates, bypassing the US State Department, bypassing the Russian parliament and going directly into their intelligence community and recruiting Vladimir Putin. What's he done against the World Economic Forum? I shouldn't have to say this. You know this. All the old hands know this stuff.
More and more people will die and suffer, and our economies will come to the brink of collapse. I cannot tell you what to do. It's your sovereign decision. I can, however, tell you one thing. Only strong leaders are able to make peace.
Why should you make peace with Russia? Take them out. Let the Russian people have a say. If they want drag queen story time, that's their business. Let them get up and fight politically, like you've got to fight politically, America, instead of sitting on your fat ass. Oh, why isn't someone saving me? Save me, Trump. Save me, Ron DeSantis. Save me, bankers. The bankers are going to save us. No, the bankers are not going to save us. They're going to put you in a smart city gulag and take away your toys until you behave. And it might be closer than we think. Fucking Orban, what a joke. Spare me. The Chinese blockade of Taiwan may have already begun, blah, blah, blah. Israel won't be able to remain neutral in the new Cold War between US, Russia and China. No, it won't. It's being brought back into line. However, it's a little disturbing when they're all running in doing these deals in every state, as Israel seems to be taking control. Well, not seems, is taking control, while Julian Romanello allows people to say the Muslim Brotherhood's doing it. That Israel is, of course, front and center, doing deals hand over fist. Abbott in Texas, DeSantis, this program is moving along. You don't need to let Israel run your critical infrastructure. You just land 2 Marine divisions in the US. You paid for it in blood and cash. You've caused a lot of damage, America, due to your laziness and refusal to take part in politics and remain as stupid as possible. You need to get in there and occupy Israel, take it over, kick all the Russians out back to Russia and just boot them all out. Boot him out completely of the Middle East. There's nothing to stop you doing it. It's all horsebucky. It's Kissinger and Associates creating that multipolar world order, letting no one rule, including the United States, including. None of these manufactured enemies could even exist without Kissinger and the old gangs, City of London, the Fed, those networks, ramming the technology and ramming the IP and the liquid cash and all the other goodies to maintain these morons in power. They're manufactured enemies, all of them. America can just dominate just by holding the technology back. You pull that technology, you become a backwater rapidly. That's all they have to do. You don't have to set a foot on the ground. And then when the public is screaming, when there's no food in China, the Russians are starving, you say, look, if you'd like to institute these political institutions, the Freedom of Information Act, and make it work, not the pretend Freedom of Information Act you have in America right now. If you want to have transparent government, you want to have a free and intellectually free media and so on and so forth, then maybe we'll give you some technology. If you don't want to do it, you can lie there and die in a shithole. How about that? You don't have to lift a finger. The United States is so far ahead in technology, it'll make your eyes water. All the way when they got DARPA going in the Vietnam War and the Jason Society Institute, all those scientists from the Jason Society, consult your Bill Cooper stuff, all those little occult boys and girls, they created the strategic Hamlet system to completely monitor and control the behavior of the Vietnamese peasants. That is where the UN Smart City program was started. In Vietnam days, the strategic Hamlet system. That's what they're trying to set up. These people are internationalist Trotskyite revolutionaries working for the international banking cartel. Okay? It's just a fancy way of saying a bunch of paid-off minions, many of whom are closet homosexuals, pedophiles, drug addicts, complete and congenital morons, and psychopath. That's a very unstable system. Some are true believers that believe, yes, we must manage the population, we must manage the planet, we must cull the population, we're a closed system before we reach out into space. That is a freaking lie. You can do this peacefully, you can raise education standards, you can just go out and make a decision. I'm sorry, 1.6 billion Chinese cannot have 3 cars. I'm sorry, it just can't be done. It's nothing personal. We can have a transparent process where ordinary people can become involved in how we are going to transition into this new technological phase. We can do that. They don't want to let us do it because they want to maintain their power and privilege. It's very simple. I ain't no communist. I believe in alpha males and alpha females getting tax cuts because they've got ideas, they're hard workers. If you work hard, you take part, you suffer, you have high ideals, you should be rewarded. And if you want to be a lazy effing slob, then you know what? Let's create smart cities for lazy effing slobs. And you can go in there with your UBI, with your therapist AI, and you can meditate and you can effing die in there, sterilize you so you can't infect the planet with your stupidity and your pathetic, stupid DNA. Fine. Set it up in Iceland, set it up in Antarctica. I don't care where. People must be rewarded for effort. You reward effort. And if you want to be a lazy slob, let me tell you, I did not have the most perfect childhood. I spent 10 years in freaking therapy with an old British paratrooper, Bernard Tandy. I paid for every hour session while I studied nursing and worked in nightclubs and pubs. I went without. No one did it for me. I had to do it. If you don't want to work, and you are owed nothing. You're owed nothing. Work. Make an effort. And if I see someone making an effort, I'm there to help them. If I see someone just sitting there going, gimme, fuck you, die. Simple as that. That's where we're at now. There's no time for slobs and laziness. You make an effort or you die. Right now, America, I don't care what your excuse is, how many kids you have, how tired you are, either wake up, work hard, involve yourself in politics, or die. Your kids are now condemned as the walking dead into the UN Smart Cities program to be culled. They will be selected the best, they will be allowed to breed. This is the program of eugenics they have ready to go. Ready to go. This is the tipping point we're at now. Not just wake up and die, wake up, move, engage in politics before it's too late. There's a very limited time frame because they can't control everyone and the managerial class are all going, I don't like the look of this. This looks very dangerous. I'm freaking really worried about this. I may be worth $1 billion. I'm soon going to be in the UBI with everyone else. I think we need to get together. They're in all the critical institutions and they want to replace them with AI, machine learning, robots and drones. That's what they're desperately bringing forward. They're rushing. They're so far behind schedule. They were meant to have the European Union, i.e. the United States of Europe, under Hitler. That's how far behind they are. Stop making them all powerful. If they were all powerful, we would have been dead long ago and Brendan O'Connell would not be roaming around the planet sprouting off his stuff on his silly internet YouTube channel, would he? Stop your powerless baby thinking and baby talk. It's ridiculous. First time. This is first time I've seen it on a large channel. How Israel helped the Chinese military become what it is today. Binkov's Battlegrounds. This is the first big channel, over 700,000 subscribers I've seen actually talk about Israel and high tech. The first time. So something is beginning to move. The narratives are beginning to move. How Jewish agency case could derail Russia-Israel ties. I don't really know how to read this other than China and Russia have been hurling insults at Israel. I'd say the party's over. Pompeo started it where he politely said, you got to read the language. No one tells Israel what to do. Pompeo went over there. You will no longer have these deals with China and Russia. Thank you. This wasn't enough for some of you. You wanted Pompeo to go up and smash Bibi in the face. Instead, Bibi was gone, and you saw the beginning of the end of this multipolar world order. So Israel is being put in its place. Well, we freaking hope so, but I'm not liking the fact that I don't see a slowdown in the integration of Israel into US states. It's not like it's in a secondary role. It's taking a leading role. They're still running the US critical infrastructure. They're still core coding Windows and Microsoft products in the Azure cloud, which is the CIA. It was meant to be Jedi. It'll be a part of that as well. My God, it's not stopping. This is the worry. It's stopping on the surface. Look a little deeper, take one scrape, brush a bit of dust away, and there they are still going strong. Well, this needs to be examined. This needs to be extrapolated on. This needs to be deepened and broadened. We need to people looking into this. Men think they're women. The trannies are coming. Globo homo. The trannies are coming. Oh, my God. Ron DeSantis might save us from the transgender operating rooms. Oh, God, it's so pathetic. Mysterious Chinese. We got to get into Snowden. I've been listening to Glenn Greenwald's book. I should have freaking read it or listened to the audiobook a long time ago. My God, he lets the cat out of the bag on Snowden. Snowden is such a fraud. Assange is an idiot, and he's done many bad things. We can talk about that. But Assange is just total fake. Kissinger, I guarantee you, Kissinger and Associates, Snowden. Kissinger and Associates, Snowden, without question. Lauren Petraeus, based in Germany. It's all Germany. Watch, Germany is front and center in everything here. Lauren Petraeus, who made the documentary and went with Glenn Greenwald and the head guy from The Guardian to interview Snowden, right? She's based in Germany because the evil Americans give her such a hard time because she's all anti-war and all that stuff. Fine. She seems like a nice, decent person. She's probably very sincere. I get it. Right? 2 weeks before she even went to Hong Kong, she contacted the head of the national security writer for the Washington Post and says, we've got a big story in Hong Kong. Will you come with us? And will the Washington Post pay for it all to give us legitimacy? Because this is a big story. He says, I'll have to get back to you. Sorry, we can't go. The lawyers have said no. Do you understand what I just told you 2 weeks before she goes to Snowden? That's just one thing I got out of the Greenwald book. The Washington Post is basically the CIA. She's got the head national security writer saying, join with us to give us legitimacy. We're going to Hong Kong. Will you pay for it? All right, because there's a big story there. And do you understand? They all knew. Might not have named Snowden. And she already had a pile of documents because they used encryption. You know, the encryption that they've had broken for 25 years? It's horseshit. The whole story is horseshit. Many of you already know this. You were onto it immediately. I gave him the benefit of the doubt for a long time. Anyway, we'll get back onto that later. Snowden is bullshit. It's Kissinger. Understand it in the multipolar world order. Bring down America. Shrink back. Get out of NATO. They told you, they're monitoring French phones. They're monitoring the UN. They're monitoring Angela Merkel's phone. The whole point was to get the US out. Protect all these other countries and say, hey, the US is spying on all your leaders, all your stuff. Now you'll see Snowden in that multipolar world order. Never has a word to say about Russia. In fact, he's so concerned about democracy and human rights and freedom of the press, he runs to Russia. Do you seriously think Snowden, this pious asshole, would not have said, I don't think that's a good idea to go to Russia. I look bad. I think I should just face the music. Would have been a hero for all time, quite possibly. But he didn't. He goes to Russia. Who's in bed with who? Israel, Russia, and China and Germany. Now you see what Snowden is. He will die a very lonely, bitter, and perhaps commit suicide in Moscow. I promise you. That guy's going down. You're going to see what he is. Kissinger and Associates. I promise you. Kissinger and Associates. Future wars, of course, the future of modern warfare, how technology is transforming conflict. It's all going to semi-autonomous and autonomous vehicles. Every new tank, armoured personnel carrier, fighter on the drawing board has either a fully autonomous, semi-autonomous, or you can put humans in there, pull the humans out, and they will be autonomous. They have to have an autonomous function. They are moving now into the autonomous function stuff. It's all the rage, and this is the problem. Cold War 2.0. Bring down the CCP. Don't contain them that Kissinger wants. Bring down Russia. Bring down China. Let them have democratic institutions, not going to be perfect, basic say in how they run, and let the economic activity resume. And then we need a worldwide discussion with the United Nations where we can go and talk with each other. They have no power. The United Nations should have a policy which says we have no power. We don't make the rules. We're just a bunch of shit for brains, druggies and sex workers. We use them in New York. I mean, don't take away the UN. What would happen to all the sex workers and the drug dealers in New York? And what would the intelligence community do? What would the FBI and CIA do? They have to recruit people. That's what the UN's based in New York for. All right, and let's sit down and have a discussion. Stop the polar bear farts are ruining the earth. We know you're using weather modification. Stop it all right now. And America must rule. We need a hitman. You better learn to love the US military and educate them. And you better do it quick. Real quick. They have wives and families. Do you understand? They will move when they see a popular grassroots movement, a popular culture that's smart and doesn't believe the adrenochrome baby drinking orgies are going on, all right? We need smart, intelligent people that know that Ricardo Bossi in Australia is a moron. I'm not spending a second of time on morons who believe the earth is flat with their friends. Very simple. We start where we need to be. America, destroy the UN, shatter the UN, smash the UN, drown the UN, set it on fire, let the Germans be Germans, the Russians, the French, and the Italians, please. We must leave the Italians as Italians and just let them be. Okay, they can sort their own stuff out and we can get together and we can reach for the stars. If we want to grow up and take part. If we don't, then we deserve to fucking die. Let them win. That's all I can say. Let America be destroyed. If you're a lazy slob, the world owes you nothing. The universe owes you nothing. If you want to fight, you better fight. There are no inalienable rights. There's just what you are willing to fight and die for. And that's it. So stop saying, I have rights. I have inalienable rights. You got nothing. Only the values you are willing to fight and die for, and most of you won't even get out of bed and switch on the correct television station and understand that Tucker Carlson is not your freaking friends. Of course, the people watching this, most of you, you know this. You understand this. This is the new warfare. If they create a Cold War 2.0, they do a blockade of Taiwan, and there's lots of hoo-ha. Maybe a ship sinks. It's blockade day 1, blockade day 2. What's the time? 40 minutes in, 20 to go. Let's rock and roll. Blockade day 3, and we just get more distractive shit, and then they release another virus, maybe a variant of monkeypox with a 15% mortality rate. Anything's on the cards. Anything. All the way to World War III. I'm hopeful that things will be easier than we think, but I'm worried about the Israeli app, food rationing app, going on your telephone. And you should be worried about that too. Because if they have just a pretend another Cold War 2.0, they will build the robots and drones, and by Agenda 2030 or 2050, they will turn those robots and drones on us. They will remove humans from the system. As long as the humans are in the system, there's hope. As long as the US remains in Ukraine and puts 2 bases in, there's some hope, I think. There are no white hats, only grey hats and black hats. No one's coming to save you. Ron DeSantis is full of shit and a piece of garbage like all the rest. Pelosi, they're all pieces of garbage. They do what the bankers and the think tanks and the foundation systems and what Lord Rothschild. You had better take control. You had better change the narrative. Ron DeSantis ain't going to do it for you. Nobody's going to do it for you. The alt media stars are full of crap, and we will talk more about Roger Stone. The 2 great crisis actors, Roger Stone and Alex Jones, and we'll talk about crisis actors. I want to now go in and show you something. This is my channel. I want to give you a quick foray on how far ahead of the curve. This is a video I made in 2018. It was originally called Israeli Drones Worldwide. I've now called it, it's video 18, NSO Group for the catchphrase, Israeli cyber espionage, the big picture, how Israel, Russia and China work together. Had this video got like 30,000 views in a week, and then boom, my channels are deleted multiple times. It would probably have a couple of million views if everything was normal. Listen to this. This is the smart cities. A lot of people saying, oh my God, look at all the smart cities going up. Yeah, I know. But thanks for telling me. I do appreciate it, but I want to give you an example. Watch this video. It's one of my faves. I also called the Department of Homeland Security in a stunt from 2017, and they listened to every word I said. Watch this video. Video 18, the link is below. Watch it. Should have a couple of million views by now. It's a really good video when they were hacking the crap out of me, and I'm getting invited out with Royal Malaysian military intelligence people. Okay, when I was in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And I was talking to Joseph Davies, the nephew of Fred Smith, Skull and Bones, founder of FedEx. Best friends with George W. Bush. Israel-Saudi cooperation, oh, you reckon? The Smart Cities program is being totally run by Israel and is the new cornerstone of their control mechanism. This is 2018, March 2018, okay? 4 and a bit, almost 4.5 years ago.
The Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, heir to the throne, looks like one of those Gorbachev types that come along from time to time, an insider who thinks the regime in which he operates is wholly dysfunctional and needs to be reformed.
In between doing his coke and hookers, yeah, whilst lopping people's heads off, chopping their hands off, another Wahhabist hypocrite scumbag.
One concrete ambition is investment of $500 billion in a new futuristic city on the Red Sea coast called Neom.
A place where pioneers and thinkers and doers can exchange ideas and get things done.
March 2018, I put this out. March 2018, 4.5 years ago.
The promotional video shows just how different they intend it to be from the stultifying, repressed images we normally see from Saudi.
Look at that piece of garbage, dear God. On his knees to Israel, like a golf ball through a freaking hose. I mean, just, he disgusts me.
Stunning nature, mountains, plains, valleys, coasts, coral reefs, islands, mountains are covered with snow in winter, mild weather in summer, 10 degrees less than the other Gulf cities and capitals. The political will is strong, the popular will and desire is strong. All the elements of success exist to create something great within the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
That's the Crown Prince bin Salman. He's only 32 and he's the recently appointed heir to the Saudi throne, replacing his cousin in the role.
If you'd like to know, the last great Saudi leader, in fact the great Arab leader, was King Faisal, executed in 1975 under orders of Kissinger.
He's already impressed President Trump.
With energy that flows from the sun and wind.
One objective...
Let's hope Trump is getting Saudi back under control by going on about, oh, gee, we should rehash 9/11 while he's holding Saudi-sponsored golf tournaments. Use your brains, it's politics. Could be a good sign or a dog whistle. I'm hoping it's a good sign.
Is economic. Preparing the...
Listen, most Saudis will tell you they're embarrassed. They're totally embarrassed by their leadership. They're totally embarrassed by these Wahhabi lunatics. They're disgusting. They hate it because it was fake. After King Faisal, in came the Wahhabi lunatics. And then by 1979, you had the... I don't even want to call them the Sharia, the Shia lunatics in Iran. They're actually pretty tame, to be honest. If you said to me, which jail would you rather be in? I'd rather be in an Iranian jail than a Saudi one. I assure you. Saudi is horrible, disgusting, and the Saudis have had a gutful.
Country for when the world weans itself off oil. It also needs jobs to occupy its youthful population. More than 2/3 of the population is under 30. But another objective is cultural. The country has become a beacon of ultra-conservative Sunni thinking. The Crown Prince made an astonishing admission to The Guardian this week. What happened in the region in the last 30 years is not the Middle East. After the Iranian Revolution in 1979, people wanted to copy this model in different countries. One of them is Saudi Arabia. We didn't know how to deal with it, and the problem spread all over the world.
Garbage. Rothschild funded this whole thing. They want totalitarian control mechanisms. So if they use religion, they'll use religion. If they want to use Xi Jinping and his Maoist variation ideology, they'll use that. And if they have to get some sort of theocracy and break up the United States into two lunatic fucking groups, they'll do that. It's all about control. You seriously think Rouhani is some serious Sharia religious lunatic? Garbage. He loves Davos. He loves It's a joke. They're all at Chatham House, Royal Institute of International Affairs. It's just the international banking cartel setting up these clowns.
Now is the time to get rid of it.
It's a clown show. And it's a circus. So I did this fake email from Bibi to President Rouhani, CC Vlad. Dear Iranian Prez, many thanks for terrorising the Sunni world into my waiting arms. I mean, this is 2018, people. 2018. That's far ahead of a bunch of us were in this curve. This is how bad the internet is. More billions in cash to flow from Swiss and German banks. Please tell Nasrallah to send the missiles. I have an indictment to avoid and Greater Israel to build, not to mention the smart kosher cities to pen up the woken goy. You take the East Bank and I'll take the West Bank of the Euphrates. Deal. Give my regards to your wife Esther. Love always, BB. And tell me it hasn't unfolded exactly like that. And that's when the great General Soleimani, that's why they killed him, because he wanted to meet with the Saudis to end the Sunni-Shia split. They knew what was going on. Boom, all dead, just to protect Rouhani and Zarif. Why were you cooperating with Soleimani? America?
You remember
Kissinger?
those compact cities Alex Jones warned us about 15 years ago when he was slightly relevant and slightly objective? Everything is linked, from self-driving cars to power grids to water and food supplies. It's all being run from Israel and every single country is signing on to it. Every country, no exceptions. It's a world takeover, possibly the final phase, the beast system. Someone tell Alex his best friend Bibi is running the show.
And you're seeing it accelerate now. It's accelerating in the United States, the corporation. No, BB will avoid indictment, but there's a lot of pressure to keep him out. I don't see the point. As someone said to me, an Israeli, actually, well, not Israeli now, but he was an Israeli, he said, Brendan, you seem to have this thing against Likud. Right or left, it doesn't matter. You're going to get raped. With Likud, they grab you by the hair, ram your head into the desk, and basically bend you over and do the business, slap you around, bloody your nose, kick you out of the house and drop you on the side of the road with a broken jaw. The quote left, the doves will put a Rohypnol in your drink, drug you, use lubricant and maybe a condom, and gently tell you, no, nothing happened, you just went to sleep on the couch, and then they'll drop you off at home with a smile. You've still been raped. I thought that was a beautiful analogy. Actually, it's the same guy who told me about the Talmud and said, look, it's a reactionary diary of a 13-year-old schoolgirl having a bad day. Brendan, you're not trying to kill me. I'm not going to try and kill you. All we have to do is survive. I promise you, the fracturing within Israel, amongst the Hasidim even, amongst the Orthodox, it's totally fractured. The only thing that holds that state together is the threat of war and annihilation. That's it. The War Powers Act. You will find many, many, many friends within the Israeli state. I promise you. You've never been there. My friends have been there. My sister's been there. I've got dozens of people that work there, and they'll tell you the place is a party town. Best drugs. The best drugs everywhere. The Russian hookers are cheap. It's a party town. All right? It's booming. It's going off. And there's fighting everywhere. And the only thing that keeps it going is the threat of annihilation, which I guarantee you one day you're going to find out. I was told this years ago. I didn't believe it. Now I believe it. You know that Hamas was founded basically by the Israeli state, the Likudniks, because they were talking about peace. That's why they had to kill Yitzhak Rabin, because they were actually going to go to peace. There's not allowed to be peace there. They've got to build the Federated States of Greater Israel. This is grand chessboard, Kissinger, City of London stuff. The City of London is not MI6 or MI5. The City of London was warned by MI6 to stop the drug money laundering. There's a whole host of things were put in place which really stifled Rothschild and the gang down at the city at Canary Wharf. All right, just as APAC and people running America are not pan-American nationalists, they're not Pax Americana nationalists, they're trying to destroy the United States. And they have used American power, goodwill, and ideals and totally destroyed it, put America on crack, and are just slowly disintegrating the place as we speak. As we speak. It's got to stop. You're going to find many allies in many places as people wake up and think this is bad. I don't want to be a part of this. There's generals. Victor Ostrowski, the great Victor Ostrowski said the Mossad is fractured into 2 or 3 groups. They just said, look, can we just be friends with the United States? It's multiple splits. The great Professor Israel Shahak, he lived out his life and died at 75 from the complications of diabetes, all right? He wasn't murdered, yet he translated the Oded Yinon Plan. That's Professor Israel Shahak. He wrote the book, Jewish History, Jewish Religion, The Weight of 3,000 Years. He gives the game away. He wasn't assassinated, okay? Died in his mid-70s from the complications of diabetes. Well known to him. The great man, Professor Israel Shahak. Got to do a video on him to remind people. Okay. Oh my God, we're at 52 minutes. Do we have time? We've got to go over Alex Jones. As you know, Alex Jones had to fork out $4 million in direct damages, which will be nothing to him, lunchbox money. The guy is a front for Kissinger and Associates, Dr. Steve Piccini and Goldman Sachs, who made Dr. Group and all those huge nutraceutical companies. They're part of an LLC linked in with evangelical churches and drug money laundering. Nothing for him. And now he's going to be richer than ever. Oh my God, please come. We need a fundraiser. It's already starting, all right? Okay, we all understand this. Now, I do believe today or yesterday the punitive damages may be considerable. He'll be fine. He'll get over all of this. Not a problem. Let's remember who Alex Jones is. Elon Musk pushed out of Twitter by Vanguard. Rothschild. All right, this idiot is not long for the world. The whole lot of them are going to go down, in my opinion. Elon Musk is such a basic fraud, frontman, idiot that he just simply cannot last. This is my Patreon. Elon Musk is the biggest self-evident fraud out there. He is one of them from top to tail. The most self-evident joke straw man ever. He is but one of many in the Kissinger and Associates stage show. Musk is part of the Kissinger, Dr. Steve Piccini, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, ad in endless cross-promoted alt media outlets. These multimillionaires splashed across our screens with endless promotion and advertising you could simply not pay for. All the whole bleeding, they are desperate political and journalistic dissidents. So, being promoted by the very same system they claim to be taking down, sure, that all makes sense. All the while making millions. Alexander Solzhenitsyn simply failed to make an online social media influencer business out of his 10 years in the Gulag, an isolation and expulsion from the Soviet Union. What would he say about these total sheep-leading clowns? And I've got a meme. There's Solzhenitsyn, the great Solzhenitsyn, Gulag Archipelago. Sorry, how much money do these dissident clowns make? Why the F wasn't the internet around for me then? Oh, sorry, Alexander. Elon Musk is 100% Kissinger Clown Show employee. He is hated by Steve Bannon, who called him a total fake, the autistic village idiot. I have spoken to several people who contacted me saying they have met him and agree he was the most shallow, vacuous and idiot person they have ever met. They assumed I had met him too. He is totally clueless as to how his business works. Simply listen to him interviewed on specifics. He is clueless. Look, Joe Rogan and Elon Musk. We're multi-million billionaires taking on the system, man. We can prove it. We're smoking a joint. Yeah. Elon Musk and SpaceX are an Israeli Rothschild front company sucking out US taxpayer-funded technology to hand to the East India Trading Company Planetary Trading Guild Network. Dr. Steve Pieczenik, Kissinger's old right-hand man, bragged on Alex Jones he had dragged Musk out of South Africa many years ago and funded him, just like he funded Alex Jones around 2008 and some people say well before that. This is mainstream media theatre. It is psychological warfare that placates and soothes and tames a restless herd of sheep about to be culled. The science is more advanced and humane. The data analytics provides the scripts and scenarios to counter one breaking sheep that gets over the fence. The rest won't follow. They're watching Kissinger, boys to men pop culture. Elon, Alex and Joe. Sit back, enjoy, feel the togetherness and smoke your joint. Alex Jones forgets about Israel, 9/11 and Kay Griggs, not to mention Bill Cooper and all the rest who hated his guts. Not to worry, as he loses market share, we'll set up a pen to capture that market. Cue Rick Wiles and True News, and also now cue good old Romanello's friends, DIA, General Flynn and Clay Clark. Here's True News, this prick. I used to speak with Matt Scouts. We were going to get together, and suddenly Matt Scouts is fired, and this prick is begging for $250,000 to expand his studio. Not do any flyers, political work, encourage outside action. Just make him another Alex Jones to capture the market that Alex Jones was losing. And he does and says all the right things. Look, now I've got my captive audience. I'll tell them how angry I am, and we can all be angry together in this nice pen where it is safe and no one can hurt themselves. I can also observe them in real time and identify troublemakers. Rick Wiles is the classic. He fired mass scouts for talking with me. He travels to Davos in South Korea at a huge expense, asking President Trump direct questions. Edward Saltz gets back to President Trump directly about the Palestinian issue. Do you understand how big that is? That doesn't happen by accident. You have to be approved at the very top, and gave us lots of dog whistles, and that's the problem with Trump. Lots and lots of dog whistles. We'll see if that changes. And you can actually see it there. Rick Wiles begged all through 2018 for $250,000 to expand his studio. All the while he was taking trips to Davos in Switzerland and South Korea. Do you have any idea how much that cost? Wiles & Co. are a pen for the escaping demographic, fleeing the moronic InfoWars audience who cannot say Israel and 9/11. What is the common note that links all these people? They make huge amounts of money. They never encourage political action, solutions, getting people together offline because they are strictly forbidden from doing so. We beg to send $1,000 to make flyers and offline material. Alex Jones could fund a full legal-backed business model offline materials project, sending out to activists all over America and the world. He hasn't forgotten to do this. He is forbidden from doing so. This is IIA operations at its finest. People equate talking about something with something is happening. Nothing is happening at Kissinger and Associates, Alex Jones, Joe Rogan, and Rick Wiles. Patrick Berge exposed it beautifully when he exposed on InfoWars that Roger Stone was best friends with Jim Jones, head of Denology, the son of General Jones, former head of NATO and owner of ClearForce and Denology, specializing in data analytics and fake news. Above all, ClearForce was put in place after Snowden to screen the social media presence of any employee and to assess their risk factors for leaking, stealing, you name it. They're doing it to all of us. Thank God for Berge. And there you see Jones, Stone and Steele. Paul Manafort, Stone's best buddy, was the head of 3EDC LLC, a company working with Denology. Do you understand? This is one major privatized military data analytics service designed to psychologically profile people for their employer, intelligence base, or any employer. They clear people for mainstream media jobs directly. Do you understand who and what Alex Jones and Joe Rogan and Rick Wiles are? Do you understand the significance of Roger Stone's and Robert David Steele's close relationship? Steele ghostwrote the memoir for King of the Cherry Marines, General Al Gray, who Kay Griggs exposed over 25 years ago. And there you see the picture of Roger Stone and Robert David Steele hanging out together, and it's all in Rats in the Ranks. Who was best friends and close associate of Robert David Steele, psych warfare training officer and CIA? None other than George Webb, here with exposer of Whitney Webb and Mint Press News, Daniel Hopsicker. He begged Hopsicker to take down his Mint Press News and Whitney Webb expose as they shared the same publisher. He did. George Webb with psych warfare officer Robert David Steele. Whitney Webb grabbed the stage lights, appearing out of nowhere with her Just Add Water crowd of supporters, and took over the Israel and high technology narrative while excluding vital core information. She was pro-Putin and pro-Iran all the way when they were all clearly in bed with the World Wrestling Federation, World Economic Forum, and it is the World Wrestling Federation, World Economic Forum, and Rouhani was hanging with Jack Straw and the Rothschild crowd. She refused to cover it. Why? Because the World Economic Forum, Berlin, Moscow axis wanted Israeli elites with them and expelled from the good books of the United States public, working on the Belt and Road, which again, Whitney Webb forgot to cover 3 years ago. And there's her book, One Nation Under Blackmail. We're waiting to see. I heard she was doing a rewrite because she basically came under so much pressure. The sordid union between intelligence and organised crime that gives rise to Jeffrey Epstein. We await her book, which is on hold. Perhaps she is feeling the heat, and our Quick Cook Just Add Water team will praise her as the leading alt media figure after she was brute forced into trying harder and deeper on the issue. While she was being promoted left and right, I was being hammered day after day, hacked and harassed. All the while, Team Skull and Bones, Joseph Davies, nephew of Fred Smith, tried hard to associate me with the white nationalist movement. Whitney appeared several times on Team Kissinger, Rick Wiles, and of course, drumroll, got shout-outs by Tim Dillon on Joe Rogan with Alex Jones present. She also got retweets by Dr. Kissinger, personal assistant, Dr. Steve Pieczenik. There she is there, by Steve Pieczenik, retweeted. You see this network, don't you? What is the common denominator? Never the full story. Always leave out self-evident key parts. Give enough for credibility, grab the audience, sit them on their ass. Never, ever, ever organise offline lobbying and information spreading. Never take their money, tell them how terrible it all is, get cross-promoted from the team, data analytics, tune the dog whistles, and write the one-liners as need be. Frances Stoner Saunders laid out the technique in her book about the CIA culture war, promoting seemingly separate and dissident voices to capture and manipulate a market. It is a must-watch. It's now been deleted off YouTube. They deleted the entire Film Archives channel. You can find it easily by putting Frances Stoner Saunders, CIA Culture War, and you will find the C-SPAN direct link. Then you must watch this brilliant 5-minute Adam Curtis extract straight off the BBC as to the oh dear effect, total and absolute passivity and belligerence in the face of a self-evident and easily solved problem. I popped this up for you. Let's watch it.
So much of the news this year has been hopeless, depressing, and above all, confusing. To which the only response is, oh dear. But what this film is going to suggest is that that defeatist response has become a central part of a new system of political control. And to understand how this is happening, you have to look to Russia, and to a man called Vladislav Surkov, who is a hero of our time. Surkov is one of President Putin's advisors and has helped him maintain his power for 15 years. But he has done it in a very new way.
Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
He came originally from the avant-garde art world, and those who have studied his career say that what Surkov has done is import ideas from conceptual art into the very heart of politics. His aim is to undermine people's perception of the world, so they never know what is really happening. Zherkov turned
This is what Julianne Romanello, all that great work she does, now completely destroyed by her bullshit. All right, the foundation system is funding everything. It's via the foundation system. You understand? It's Bloomberg. It's not Bill Gates. He's a freaking psychopathic nobody. They'll probably sacrifice him on the altar of COVID. COVID has been to distract you and mess with your head. You don't know who's who. You don't know what's happening. 1 minute they say one thing, the next minute they say another, and your head hurts, and then you want to switch off, or you join a team. Join Team Libtard or Team Trumptard or Team Ron DeSantis. Watch this. I'm not going to interrupt again. Watch.
And Russian politics into a bewildering, constantly changing piece of theatre. He sponsored all kinds of groups, from neo-Nazi skinheads to liberal human rights groups. He even backed parties...
Oh, dear God, I didn't have my mic on, sorry.
...that were opposed to President Putin. But the key thing was that Zherkov then let it be known that this was what he was doing.
Did you hear that? He then let it be known that that's what he was doing. Was that Shadowgate, Millie Weaver, Gavin Winston now hanging out with Rudy Giuliani? None of it make sense. Was Shadowgate the revelation of the method, so we don't believe in anything? All the crisis actors, all the fake news stuff we keep finding? All the crisis actors, blatantly crisis actors? It's admitted 1 minute. Adam Curtis shows Russian crisis actors and says they have crisis actors in Russia and show the same woman at 5 different events playing 5 different roles. That's Adam Curtis of the BBC. They have crisis actors right now, and we'll briefly mention that. All right, I'm over an hour, but I've got to keep going, another 10 minutes. And now you're just sitting there going, well, what's real? You either believe everything or you believe nothing. Beautiful, you're polarised and they've got you. That's why it's not all theatre, but it's theatre, if you know what I mean. Grand strategy, total theatre. Tactical, changing daily, very hard to keep up with. Very confusing.
Which meant that no one was sure what was real or fake.
No one was sure what was real or fake. Oh, Adam Curtis, straight out of the BBC. Can you believe it?
As one journalist put it, it's a strategy of power that keeps any opposition constantly confused. A ceaseless shape-shifting that is unstoppable because it's indefinable. Which is exactly what Zherkov is alleged to have done in the Ukraine this year. In typical fashion, as the war began, Zherkov published a short story about something he called non-linear war. A war where you never know what the enemy are really up to, or even who they are. The underlying aim, Zherkov says, is not to win the war, but to use the conflict to create a constant state of destabilized perception in order to manage
and control.
But maybe we have something similar emerging here in Britain. Everything we're told by journalists and politicians...
Okay, you can watch that. It's on my channel right there, How to Control the Mob. Let's go back. And he goes into, no one's talking about the bankers. Even Adam Curtis of the damn BBC, people, come on. How to Control the Mob. Vladislav Zherkov, IIA Operations, Russia, Kushner and Associates. It's all the same people. If I can make you understand how this system works, I will have achieved much. So a voice-overed, well-structured video must follow. I was hoping to wait until Whitney Webb put her book out, but I can wait no more. Now I'm going to wait for her to put the book out. Let me know when her book comes out. Let us lobby hard in every way we can to embarrass this clown show to either leave the stage or do the work we want them to do. And there's our flyers. And let us attend. Let's refine this flyer. We're having a meeting today. It's getting better and better and better. Now, Alex Jones panicking over Bergie revelations. And we've got to remember this clown. We've got to get it through people's heads. I don't even know if he speaks to Roger Stone anymore. It'd be interesting because he couldn't get rid of Roger Stone, Bergie told me, because Stone's got compromising pictures of him in a clown suit playing with children, not sexually assaulting them, but being completely inappropriate, off his head on drugs. I'd believe it. Now, I could say whatever I like then and accuse him, but this is well within the realms of possibility with Alex Jones. This is from April the 21st, 2022. Alex Jones and Roger Stone go full retard in an attempt to deflect away from Patrick Bergie, outing them as deep in bed with General Jim Jones, Denology and Clearforce. Sorry, this is 2021. I want to show you once and for all what Roger Stone and Alex Jones really are. I have supported Jones up to 2016-17 until he became so drug-affected and totally ridiculous in his support of Trump. I listened every day on my walks in Kuala Lumpur. He was totally off his head. Jones says repeatedly that Bergie is a liar, that Bergie claims Stone was running everything at the top. This is a desperate and sadly pathetic man. Jones is clearly terrified. Bergie said no such thing. He never inferred any such thing, never insinuated any such thing. It is an utter dopey, pathetic straw man erected by the drug-addicted, prostitute-marrying, alcoholic, compromised clown. Both Stone and Jones love their hookers. That's Alex Jones' wife, Erica Wolf. She is a well-known prostitute out of Austin, Texas. Her mother works at the Federal Reserve in Texas. This is 100% confirmed. Erica Wolf was an Austin, Texas sex worker and yoga instructor going by the name of Anja. Erica Wolf's mother is Michelle Wolf. She works at the Kansas Federal Reserve. Just saying. At the start, Jones says, explain to me. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Explain why you didn't come here first. Bergie was polite, but he told me the reason he didn't go to Jones was because he knows Jones is a total IIA plant with all of his studio equipment straight out of a military studio. The same equipment, same names. Rats in the Ranks, go watch it. It's linked here. Your friend is a close personal friend of my boss, Jim Jones, and his dad, General James Jones. He never says Stones was working with Manafort and his subcontracting company, 3EDC LLC. He says Stone is close personal friends with at least Jim Jones, the son of General James Jones. Bergie told me Stone admitted he knew them well. He told him when he met Stone here. Quote Bergie, if it benefits them to attack Trump, they will attack Trump. If it benefits them to use Trump to hurt their enemies, they will use Trump to hurt their enemies. It is nothing to do with politics. It is all about power and profits. People have got to get the politics out of their mind with this. Once you can accept that, it starts making sense. What the hell? Let's watch Bergie.
They're using this against Trump.
They're using it however it benefits them.
Well, but I mean, the establishment, the main attack is against Trump.
Mm-hmm. Sure. If it benefits them to attack Trump, they will attack Trump. If it benefits them to use Trump to hurt their enemies, they will use Trump to hurt their enemies. Benefits them to attack Trump, they will attack Trump. If it benefits them to use Trump to hurt their enemies, they will use Trump to hurt their enemies. It has nothing to do with politics.
It's all very sociopathic.
It's nothing to do with politics. It's all about power and profit. People got to get the politics out of their mind with this. Once you can accept that, it starts making sense.
Let's keep going. No truer words were ever spoken on this subject. Watch this documentary on Roger Stone. Get me, Roger Stone. Roger Stone with Wall Street Madam and mother of his love child, Kirsten Davies. Why don't they ever go after him on this? Kirsten Davies is a prostitute, high-class madam compromising Wall Street operators. That's what Roger Stone does. He had apartments in New York. He has multiple girlfriends. That's his second wife. They have a love child together. Did you know that? You didn't know that. They won't mention it. This is him, the sexual deviant pervert working to compromise Marx for decades via his sex worker madam with whom he has a love child and an open relationship with his wife. That is, now listen, that's their good luck. I do not judge him for that. I believe Roger Stone would be a hoot. If he was my neighbour, I bet he's a great neighbour. He would be hilarious. Probably invite you over to have a few, nights with the wife. He likes to share his wife with other men. And he's a closet bisexual, probably got AIDS or God knows what, but he's a huge coke and meth addict. Stone, imagine I'm a Christian, I'm born again. Stone likes to watch other men have relations with his wife. He prefers them well hung and fit because Roger is bisexual and a cocaine and methamphetamine addict. Many have wondered about his HIV status. Get me, Roger Stone. Yeah, of course he is. I absolutely do not judge Roger Stone nor his wife for their private life. It's their business. And I don't. I'm sure they're, just on a neighbourly level, I'm sure they're they're literally nice people. I guarantee you they're perfectly nice people. Politically and for other reasons, they're pieces of garbage. But in relation to this operation as a political himp man and compromat specialist with a 40-year history with Jeffrey Epstein, you do the math. You see that picture in his house doing that Napoleon pose? That's a heavy Masonic pose. Stone's fave Masonic pose. Hardcore Masonic pose, I might add. And here he is with arch-core Zionist Jerome Corsi, where he admits to Jason Goodman that, yes, he has been photographed with Marine Psych Warfare NATO CIA Psych Warfare Training Officer Robert David Steele. His daughter Beth Steele is an FBI public relations officer. It's all there for you. At that meeting, they discussed geopolitics. Robert David Steele, deep into the NATO General Jim Jones network, ghostwriter of General Al Grey, whom Kay Griggs stated was a closet homosexual and the most evil man she had ever met. Now watch Alex Jones have fits trying to deflect Bergey's gold statement away, linking Stone and Donology and Manafort and 3EDC LLC. And while we're at it, the Mueller report, which no one reads, shows clearly the links between Joel Zamel, the head of Israeli data analytic and compromise company Psy Group, and Eric Prince. They didn't mention this, did they? This is all in the Mueller report. Who is Joel Zamel? They are deep in bed with both Manafort and Stone. Stone calls Manafort 67 times. This is in the Mueller report. 67 times during this period. So Stone has never worked for Manafort. He just works with Manafort. You can see all the stuff there. Eric Prince, one project alternately named Blackjack and Jack Black, was intended to improve the online reputation of American businessman and co-founder of the Blackwater private security services firm, Eric Prince, presumably in response to a request from Prince. Zamel, that's an Israeli, is Australian, dual national Israeli intelligence. Zamel indicated that a contract for work never materialized. Zamel said that he was introduced to Prince in 2016 by former CIA official Kofa Black. According to Zamel, with several follow-on meetings with Prince occurred, at which Zamel and Prince discussed human rights work related to the Middle East oligarchy. It's all in there. During the same time period, Stone and Manafort spoke by phone approximately 64 times, and Stone also spoke 67 times with Trump donor Eric Prince. How interesting, to do with Julian Assange. Stone also emailed Eric Prince on October 3rd telling him, quote, spoke to my friend in London last night, the payload is still coming. October the 4th, Prince also asked Stone whether Assange had, quote, chickened out, end quote. Stone responded that he was not sure, but checking. Later that day, Prince texted Stone again to ask whether he had heard anything from London. So let's get this right. So Roger said, I got nothing to do with Assange, I was just lying. But here's Eric Prince, a man highly connected, going through Stone to get the gossip on Julian Assange. Really? They always count on you never reading anything. Stone wrote, yes, want to talk on a secure line. Got WhatsApp? Yeah, right. And previewed that it was good. Prince recalled later speaking with Stone, who told him that WikiLeaks would release more materials harmful to the Clinton campaign. Prince also described Stone having the equivalent of a, quote, insider stock trading information about Assange. That's what Prince did. Eric Prince, a highly connected player himself, is saying Stone's got an insider run. I've got nothing to do with it. It's all lies. Yeah, rats, all of them. One good, well-structured voiceover video should finish Jones and Stone and link them properly with Kissinger and Associates, Rockefeller, and every Zionist scumbag under the sun. Day after they sacked Comey, there's Trump hanging with the foreign minister. That was not a good look. I couldn't believe it. I fell over and I didn't even realize Kissinger was there. Kissinger's good friend, the Russian foreign minister. One day after sacking James Comey, running the Russian collusion investigation, Trump said during this time on Vladimir Putin, and this is a quote, how do you know we didn't put him there? Trump couldn't help himself. And how do you know? Because Kissinger did put Vladimir Putin there. That's a gold quote. Gold. Indeed. We are being taken for a giant ride, and I note how COVID was so important as a distraction, more than an actual timed response. I put to you again that the COVID release was meant to be 2028, when Kushner was to be running for president and the tech and infrastructure was ready. They went early. Why? Because Israel, as the cyber technology juggernaut, was out of the bag and they had to smack the US and world managerial class in the mouth. The Samson option with a bio-warfare twist. The next one will be 15% mortality. They would have warned privately. We have your bank account details, your visits to our prostitutes on camera. We have everything backdoored. It didn't work, and there is massive battle going on by the American managerial class, and that's why they're in Ukraine as we speak. They got all their network in line. Panama Papers, WikiLeaks, Pandora Papers, Snowden betrayal, Epstein ring exposure, and what do you notice? No one goes to jail. They nailed tubby Prince Andrew, and that was about that. More to come. That is my Patreon. You go there, you get the videos a week or two before anybody. For $1 a month, you get these articles. Ladies and gentlemen, let's wind this up. There's a lot more to talk about. I mean, I got whole quotes on why Rupert Murdoch is finally done with Donald Trump, blah, blah, blah. Murdoch, Rothschild investment. Let's quickly read this one. Thank you, Glacier from Switzerland. Murdoch, Rothschild invest in Israeli shale oil. Negotiations with Rothschild and Murdoch began 6 months ago, and Rothschild visited Israel during that time. This is by the Jerusalem Post, November 22nd, 2010, 12 years ago, admittedly. Lord Jacob Rothschild and Rupert Murdoch have invested in an Israeli venture to produce oil from bituminous-bearing rock in the Elah Valley in the Judean Hills. Last week, they acquired 11% in equal shares of Genie Energy Corporation unit, Genie Oil and Gas, for a total of $11 million. They then went on to dig for that gas offshore, which was shit, and they said 3 companies refused to do it, except Genie. And then, what do they need that shale for? Now they've got the Syrian oil fields. Ladies and gentlemen, let's wind this sucker up. Let's. I hope I reminded enough people that Rupert Murdoch, aka alt media star, Tucker Carlson's boss, is not on your side at all. This has got to stop. You're watching the breaking up of the United States along libtard, Trump-tard lines, conservative. They even have at CPAC. I've actually got the video where they've got full-on, so conservatives don't have to waste time marrying libtards or going on a date with a libtard and then finding out the libtards and you can't be together. They are breaking the United States in two. It's on your face, and they are using the states. Roe versus Wade turns up. Hello, why would you be happy? Roe versus Wade. What timing? And the ridiculous reporting going on, saying that, basically it's in accord with the European Union now, and they're claiming that women can't have abortions anymore. It's ridiculous. The point is that the intent to put Roe versus Wade there was to create division, and the media are doing a splendiferous job doing exactly that. So they will break up along the states. They will be city-states. There will then be smart cities, and you will have mayors, just like in the Hunger Games, Sparta city-states, and then they will play them off against each other, break it up, put it into the UBI, so on and so forth, and then come for the guns, disarm one half of the country and then get the other half later with robots and drones when they are ready. If you fall for this and allow the breakup of the United States, you may as well put a bullet in your head right now, kill your kids, your wife and the dog and the canary, because you are making sure there will be no opposition to this worldwide planetary guild. I cannot tell you technically who is who in the zoo exactly, but in the grand chessboard, it's freaking theatre of the highest order. The highest order. They're not just having crisis actors for mall shootings, and not every mall shooting is a crisis actor, but a hell of a lot of them are. They have whole divisions dedicated to this stuff, including actors for reporters, actors for people sitting in cars outside the mall. They will edit your security video for you. The whole thing is manufactured, the whole freaking thing. However, not everything you see is crisis actors. However, when something spontaneous happens, which Kyle Rittenberg most likely was, they said, oh, thank you for that gift, a nice organic morsel, which they then promoted. They just promote and coddle the story, the narratives they want. It is a battle of narratives. You are being played hand over fist. BLM, Proud Boys, that's all fake. Right wing, left wing, fake. They're all kissing each other's ass. They got the same coke dealers, they visit the same prostitutes, and they got the same damn banker bosses. It's the international banking cartel. The Fed is the enemy. If I have to say this in 2022, what was just talked about, nothing else, back in 2001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you see how far we have drifted. These people are treacherous traitors, and they will manage the narrative and trim their sails, and they will start using this rhetoric when they realize they're in trouble. Heinz Kissinger and Kissinger and Associates should be front and center, along with Soros. It is the foundation system coming down, the think tanks which they fund, the Proud Boys, BLM. It's all the same, all of it. When you hear rhetoric from Donald Trump which says, I will smash the banks, I will take notice. Until then, it's more horseshit, it's more theatre. Keep your powder dry and your picker hard. Ladies and gentlemen, the Second Amendment must remain. They're very scared of 300 million firearms. You must engage politically. You have no right to violence yet. Violence is 10. You're at a 2 if you're lucky. America, you are it. I leave you with Scott Fitzgerald and the great Bill Cooper. It's over now. I apologise. Now it's time for a meeting on Google Meet. Ciao for now. F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true.
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and that's the only thing that it's all about. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom. Only freedom.